It is 7:53 and lots of kids just headed off to college for the very first time. So how can you make sure that they have a successful year in college? Teague Von Bohlen, an assistant professor at CU Denver, is here this morning to tell us about the Snarktastic guide to college success. So thank you for being here, Teague. We appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about your guide here. We have the book. It's very entertaining. I flipped through it yesterday. Why would you write this, and what are your big points?
Well, I'm glad you found it entertaining. That was the point of the book, to really write a textbook about college success, about how to get along at the university level, and have it not be the most boring thing you've ever read in your life.
So you have do's and don'ts that have a little bit of color there. So
Yeah.
let's start out with some of the do's and don'ts.
Great.
What should you do? Pick classes that what?
You should always, every semester, I would say, pick a class that makes you happy. Pick a class that it may be in your major, but it's just something that gives you joy, because that's going to make the educational experience that much better for you.
Well, what if mom and dad really think you should take class A, B, and C?
Right. Mom and dad will always have a plan for you. And I think that you should take class A, B, and C, but add class D to that, just so that
Okay.
you can be you can have a smile on your face at least a quarter of the time.
Okay, and what about, you say you need to be nice to those administrators?
Absolutely. The folks who are there to help you, the folks that are there to help you register, to get you to the right class at the right time, just a thank you and a smile can go a long way to make sure that those people are working for you in the long run.
And of course, we're always wanting our youth to think about the next step. They need their job and their graduate school recommendations.
Absolutely.
So they need to keep that in mind when they're dealing with their professors, right?
They do, yeah. Getting to know your professors and making sure that your professors know your name, because in the long run, they are going to be writing your letters of recommendation, and in the short term, they're going to be grading at the end of the semester, and it's always better to have a face to put to the name when that professor is assigning your grade.
And I think this is interesting. You know, the world seems to be going so high tech, but you say do not ignore the humanities.
Please do not ignore the humanities. As a as a proponent of the humanities, just on a personal level, I think that's a good thing. But the humanities are one of those things that I think give us joy just as human beings. And so, you know, how cool is it to later in life be able to recite a poem off the top of your head? Impress your grandkids eventually someday.
Well, you know, I think something that we talk about so often is social media and partying and things that people tend to post that they shouldn't. How important is that to be careful with what you post online?
You have to be very careful about what you post online, especially in terms of that respect for diversity on campus. I mean, CU Denver is the most diverse public research institution in the state, and so you have to be really careful about what you put out there, because it does get read by people, and it'll come back to haunt you if you put the wrong thing out there.
Okay, Teague, thanks so much for coming in. You can pick up his book, The Snarktastic Guide to College Success. We appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tom, back over to you.